When you're 80 years old, you'll wish you'd have tried. Now, as you can hopefully tell, I'm not 80, but I do have goals and I do have dreams. And I also know that most of those goals and dreams probably aren't everything I've ever wanted, right? Like, they might be cool in my head, but once you get there, you'll realize that they won't solve all your problems. If you look at very successful people, they struggle with a lot of stuff. There's this guy on YouTube called Tanner Braungardt who used to make videos where he was doing like trampoline flips and challenges. He got really big on YouTube. He made a lot of money. He basically made enough money to never have to work again, which is probably everybody's dream. And he was miserable. He got into addiction and he was in a very bad state of mind. He just had a horrible life. I think a lot of people have this idea of, oh, if I just reach this one goal, I'm gonna be happy. But I don't think that's true. I don't think your goals are gonna make you happy, and I don't think that one specific goal is gonna like solve all your problems. And you're probably just thinking of the positive aspects, and everything in life comes with pros and cons, right? So it's not all gonna be sunshine and rainbows. And you might get there, you might reach your goal and realize, okay, I wanna do something else. But if you never try, then this idea of this perfect goal that's gonna fix everything is gonna stick in your head, and you're gonna be like, what if? But what if I tried? What if it worked out? And you're just never gonna know. I don't wanna be 80 years old and say to myself like, oh yeah, I had those dreams and goals, but I just was too scared of failing, so I never tried. But if it had worked out, my life would have been so much better. No, I don't wanna be that person. But if you try, there are three options. You can either fail and you'll know that you just couldn't do it, or you can succeed and realize, oh, it's not really what I wanted. It's not as great as I thought. Or you can succeed and actually be happy with it. You can be like, okay, yeah, it's awesome that I've done it. But I think the worst option, the fourth option, is not trying and then always wondering what would have happened. So let's talk about my situation, my goals and dreams. What am I scared of not trying? I think a lot of you don't even know what I do for a living. And basically, I've been making videos since I was 11 years old. It's a crazy story, right? And I've been making money with it officially since I was 18. But I've been making some pocket money since I was like 13, 14. And then I registered my own business when I was 18. And then I've been also working part-time at a marketing agency. And it's basically the same thing. I just do video creation for big brands, for TikTok and Reels and all that stuff. And it's a good job. I get to do a lot of cool stuff. I get to see a lot of cool places, but it's also very mentally and physically exhausting sometimes. And I also don't see myself doing it in 10 years. There's also another problem, actually a bigger problem, which is that it doesn't really mix well with my sport. Honestly, the best time I had training was when I was just doing freelance jobs here and there, enough to get by, and then just like training and eating and cooking full time. It was kind of like being on steroids. But then once you start working more and more, it gets really hard to stick to your sport. Not because you don't have the time, but because your body just doesn't have the energy to recover from all of that. And it gets really hard to stick to good sleep schedule and to good food timing and all of that stuff. And I could, of course, just do the minimum amount of work to get by and train as much as I want to, as much as I can. But honestly, how long can I really do that for? Maybe 5 years, maybe 10. But then I'll be 32 years old, maybe wanting a wife and kids and a house with no money, just broke because I've been just training my whole life, not doing anything else. So I think if you want to stay in your sport and also not be broke at 30, you kind of have to make your sport your career. Oh, it's snowing so bad. It's snowing in my face. I should like turn around and talk to the camera like this. But I do tricking, which is this weird niche underground sport where you do flips and kicks and tricks. So like, how do you make money doing that? Because you can't just go to like some club and do matches like you do in soccer and get paid. Like, how do you make a living off of tricking? And there is a small handful of ways, and very few people actually make a living off tricking. But there is one way that I will be pursuing, and that is building my own tricking gym. And there's a very specific reason why I had this idea, why this is the path I'm pursuing. You see, I live in the city of Graz. Graz is a small city. It's actually not that small. I guess internationally it's small. For Austria, it's not that small. There's like 300,000 people, I think. I was born here. I grew up a bit outside of Graz, and now I'm back in the city. I joined my first parkour class here in Graz when I was 13 years old. So I've been training in this city for the past almost 9 years. And I've risen to the top of my sport in this country. I've traveled the world. I've seen a lot of different tricking communities around the world. And what I can tell you is that the place that I wish I had for training doesn't exist in Graz. It actually doesn't exist anywhere in Austria. And it's both in terms of equipment and in terms of trainers. There's just nothing there that even remotely resembles what I wish we had in Graz. So I have a profession that I don't see myself sticking with for a very long time. I also want to make money with my sport, to stay in my sport. And I also, as much as I hate it sometimes, love this city. I love living in Graz, and I don't see myself moving anywhere else in the near future. Maybe someday I might, but yeah, for now I kind of want to stay in Graz, and I want to also make it a better place. So the logical conclusion is kind of to build a tricking gym in Graz. Now that obviously isn't going to be easy, but I also don't think it's going to be that hard. And also, easy things are kind of boring. You have one life, you might as well just try hard things, learn a lot of stuff. Like, even if this fails, even if I don't make it, I'm gonna have learned so much through this journey. It's gonna be worth so much more than if I had just like kept on doing the same job over and over and over again. Like trying to build my second business at 21 years old. I'm gonna learn so much. Like whenever you build a business and you don't have money, you have to literally do everything. Everything, because when you have money, you can outsource everything, right? You need like graphics design, you just hire somebody. You need marketing, you hire a marketing agency. But when it's your business and you don't have a lot of money, you gotta do everything. Everything from accounting to marketing, all the paperwork, everything. And as much as I think education is important, and it's good that people can go to universities and study, and I think it's also awesome that people can do it for free here in Austria, I also think that you're gonna learn so much more when you actually do stuff, when you take action, when you just try and then you see what works, and maybe you fail sometimes, but it doesn't mean that your whole project has to fail, right? Like maybe your first marketing campaign just sucks, and that's okay, and you're gonna have wasted some time, you're gonna have wasted some money, but you're gonna learn from it. You're never really gonna learn from theory as much as you can from actually practicing. I've got so much snow on my head. It's actually getting quite cold. I could already be at the office. I'm just like taking a little stroll so I can talk for a bit longer. But how does a 21-year-old build a tricking gym? Well, you're right to ask. It's a big endeavor. But honestly, I don't think it's gonna be that hard. Like, obviously it's gonna be hard work. It's gonna take a lot of time, but so is learning flips, right? And it's kind of the same structure as well. You just have progressions. You don't start off by doing double backflips. You don't start off by having like a huge gym built and like 1,000 square meters and this huge gymnastic spring floor for 100K. Like, I just don't have the money for that. And even if I had, it would be stupid to just like start off right away investing a ton of money without even seeing if there is enough demand or if you even like doing it. Welcome to Graz, by the way. This is the Murinsel. So yeah, my plan, I've got a pretty detailed plan, and I'm not gonna tell you all the details right now, but I'm just gonna give you a very basic, quick breakdown. Phase 1 is just gonna be workshops and getting people onto a waiting list. So at the moment, I have a website that I built myself. I've been working on it intensely since January, and I've been shooting the first content. Actually, I shot the first content in October last year, and I've been kind of like scheming this, kind of thinking about all of this since July. But honestly, like just making plans, just thinking about something isn't really action. And it's sort of an illusion of making progress. Don't just watch YouTube videos about how to do something. Don't just make up plans and think that you're making progress. Obviously it's part of it, but you can get stuck in this loop of like, oh yeah, I am working on it, I am working on it. No. The first step is when you actually take action on something. So I would say my first step was in like October or January. October I filmed the first videos. January I started actually coding the website. So on this website, people can go onto the website and there's this whole section about like who I am, what tricking is, what I have planned for Graz, and also the courses that I want to do. And if you want to do some of the courses, some of the trainings, you can sign up to a waiting list. This waiting list is super important because obviously when you open up a gym, as soon as you rent a space, you have reoccurring costs, right? And you don't want to just like rent a gym, buy all the equipment, and then just have 0 people show up, or maybe like 2 people show up. So you want to make sure that the demand is there before you ever spend any money on renting a place or just getting equipment. And there's also one thing that they can already book, which is backflip workshops. And I'm getting a lot of snow in the face, so I think I'll finish this in the office. So at the moment, people on my website can buy a backflip workshop, or they can sign up for my waiting list if they're looking for trainings multiple times a week with a trainer. And I want most people to sign up for the waiting list. Like, my main goal is to get a lot of people on the waiting list, because from my personal perspective, I'm gonna have a lot more joy when I get to actually make people really good at tricking or parkour or flips or whatever. And that's only possible if you have multiple trainings a week over a long period of time, right? Like in a handful of workshops, you're not gonna have massive progress. You're not gonna be able to watch people transform and progress over a long period of time, which is why my focus is on building actual classes that people attend multiple times a week. And it's also a lot better from a business perspective, because obviously you're gonna have a lot more peace of mind if you know how much money you have coming in every month. If you know, okay, I've got 50 students or 100 students paying me X amount every month, and maybe they're even fixed for half a year or a year, you've got a lot more peace of mind. And you can also take on a lot more risk, because, well, it's not actually risk anymore. Like, you know how much money you have coming in. So you know, okay, yeah, I can rent this place, I can put the equipment in there, I can get a loan, because you know that you're gonna have money coming in. Whereas if you always have to get new customers, like if you're just doing workshops, that's gonna be very stressful. But I think the backflip workshops are still gonna be very much worth it, because it's kind of like the gateway drug. Because a lot of people don't just wake up one day and go, yeah, I'm just gonna learn tricking now, right? People don't just learn about tricking and then go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna commit myself to a year of training twice a week and I'm gonna be the best tricker. No, like, people just wanna learn cool flips. Maybe people just wanna learn a backflip. They just wanna be cool and do a backflip at their Matura Ball, which is like the Austrian prom. Like, most people don't just start off being like, yeah, I'm just gonna be a tricker now. No, they're like, okay, let me try this out. So I think backflip workshops are gonna be great, because I just get paid to do client acquisition for the classes. But yeah, my main goal for now is getting more coaching experience and also getting as many people as possible onto my waiting list. And let's do a little thought experiment. In the city of Graz, there's like about 300,000 people, maybe a bit less. And if you count the suburbs and all the little cities around it that are still in reach, I could probably reach 500,000 people. If every single one of those 500,000 people knew exactly who I was and what I wanted to do, my waiting list would be filled to the brim and I could start tomorrow. And that means I have a marketing problem. And that is awesome, because if there's anything that I should be good at, it's marketing. I've got over 100,000 followers across platforms on social media. I work at a major social media marketing agency, making social media content for like huge brands. And then also, I've been making videos since I was like 11, and like tricking, flips, parkour, all of this stuff is super easy to market, because it just like pulls in so much attention. I can just go to like major events in my city with a Spider-Man suit, start doing flips, record content there, get a lot of attention to me, and then hand out flyers, talk to people, all of that stuff. There's like so many ideas in my head for how to market this stuff. I don't think I'll run out of ideas, and I don't think it's really all that hard to market it. You just gotta be willing to do it. You gotta be willing to go out there and maybe embarrass yourself. And that's also kind of like something that stops a lot of people, I think. People are scared of being embarrassed. And if I'm being honest, I'm not really scared of failing. I'm scared of people seeing me fail. I'm not scared of actually failing. I'm scared of telling everybody I'm gonna like build this tricking gym, I'm gonna build this huge brand, people are gonna come to my trainings. I'm scared of telling people that I'm gonna do all of this and then failing. I'm scared of people seeing me fail. I'm not actually scared of what's gonna happen when I fail. I'm just scared about what people are gonna think of me, and that is so stupid. I have this video on my YouTube channel. It's called Nobody Cares About You. And in this video, I'm explaining to people like how everybody's so caught up in their own lives that they're barely even like recognizing what's going on in yours. Like nobody's walking past you on the street and then thinking about you 5 days later like, oh my God, that guy had a pimple on his nose. I can't believe it, right? Like everybody's so caught up in their own lives, they don't even give a shit if you fail or not. Most people are probably barely even gonna remember that you tried to do something, right? The only people who are gonna remember are the people closest to you, your friends and family, and hopefully they would be supportive. And if they're not, then why does it matter? Like the only person you should try to impress is yourself. Your 80-year-old self, and maybe you as a kid, unless you were stupid as a kid. I don't know, some people maybe want to be bad people as a kid. I don't know. You have one life and you never know when it might be over, right? So you might as well just do what you want to do, because like, when else are you gonna do it? Like in the next life? There is no next life, right? At least I don't think so. Maybe you do, but I don't think there is a next life. So I'm gonna do what I want to do in my life. And if I fail, I fail. And if people see me fail, so be it. It's really not gonna be as bad as you think. I'm telling you, watch my video, Nobody Cares About You. It is so true. Everything I said in that video is so true, but you just have to really get it in your head, and you kind of have to train yourself to not care what people think. If you actively get yourself into situations where you usually would be embarrassed and worried about what other people might think, then you can actually train yourself to worry less about what other people might think, which then enables you to do stuff that you might have to do in order to reach your goals. Like, I have to do marketing, and sometimes marketing can be embarrassing. You might have to run around in the Spider-Man costume wearing a weird tank top with some text on it, and you might have to approach people, you might have to be like very extroverted and all of that stuff. And if you actively train yourself to not care what other people might think, then those situations will become easier and you will be able to do it much more, which will then help you get to your goals faster. So whatever your goal is, whatever the steps are that you need to take to get to that goal, don't let your thoughts, don't let your fear of embarrassment stop you from trying, because you only have one life and you might as well try. I know that getting my tricking gym is probably not going to fix all my problems. It's probably not going to be everything I ever wanted, but even if I won the lottery right now and I could move to Australia and I could just chill on the beach whenever and I could just trick whenever and do whatever, I think I'd be happy for a while and then miserable after some time, because I think there's always ups and downs and you get used to the ups and then you just get very sensitive to the smallest downs. And a lot of people who actually get to that point where they've achieved everything they've ever wanted, they become super miserable. So I think you always need something to work towards, and I think having a big goal to work towards, having something that's bigger than yourself, actually contributes a lot to happiness, more than just like having a lot of money and being able to do whatever you want. So I think that this is going to be a very important journey, and I think that even if I were to fail, it wouldn't matter. Like, I would still be better off, because all the stuff that I'm gonna learn from trying to build this business is gonna be so much more valuable. I'm gonna learn so much more than if I just kept doing what I can already sort of do, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm very excited for this journey. And I just want to tell you, if you have a goal or a dream that's actually something that you really, really want to work towards, not just like something, oh yeah, maybe. Like if there's something where you're like, if I don't try this, I'm going to regret not trying, then start today. Like not tomorrow. There's no like research you need to do now, no YouTube video you need to watch. Like start today. Make a plan and take one step, the first step. I'm super excited that I took the first step and the first steps, and I'm very excited to see where this is going. I'm very excited to look back on this in the future, and I wish you all the best with your endeavors as well. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.